Yay.
Yeah, look at us knowing what we're doing, barely.
I don't know what I'm doing. In fact, I don't even know you. Okay.
Oh, who are you? Damn.
I don't know. Who are you again?
All right, we have not done this in like
In a couple weeks.
All right, do your thing.
And we haven't had a solo pod in a while. So it is episode 111 of the Get Reelisms podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am Adam Chase Rennie.
And I am Christine Chen.
Look at us go. This is our first solo pod without any guests. And I think we need to have this for you and I. I feel like we need to have a little check-in. Like I need to have a check-in with my mom. You know what I mean? It's like, how's everything? You know?
Yeah. Is 111, would you say that's a lucky number? Because isn't it like when you're at 11, you're supposed to make a wish? Does 111
That's
count?
right. 111 does help. 111 brings you it brings you all of the luck. So hopefully this episode is going to be a better. Thank you so much everyone in joining. Christine, you're back in LA. You were in Shreveport.
I was in Shreveport. I was all over the place.
Why were you oh, okay. Well then start from the beginning. Where
as some of you guys might know, I was in Texas for almost 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was there first staging a independent Christmas movie, which was super fun, called Christmas in New Hope by director Julia Barnett. And it was super fun because I got to reunite with a lot of old crew members that actually had been part of my journey and career from very, very, very early when I first moved to Austin. And we actually had one of them on the podcast, Alex Walker. He did some of my early features. So that was early feature. Oh, that too, actually, and then also a short film. So most of my short films. So the early feature is Fun Employment, and then the short films he did were A Bird's Nest, Two Roads, Yeah, I'll Be. And so it's super fun when you unite with your old filmmaker buddies. It's really much like a family reunion. And it was a lot of us like in between setups going, remember when ... Do you remember when ... Oh my God, remember when? It was a lot of that. So
especially when 10 years doesn't feel that long ago, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't.
But on paper, it is. It's a very long time.
It is. And you're like, holy shit, like 4 years ago, all our stuff was in two of our, passenger vehicles, like our what are they called? Compact cars.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Not grip trucks or production cubes or whatever. So, that was a lot of fun. And then, I always, because the set was in Waco, Texas, which is about an hour and a half away from Austin, and we only had 1 day off between weeks, except for the first week. I wasn't really able to do much visiting with people in Austin until after I wrapped from the set. So the first week I was able to participate during for South by Southwest, and that was fantastic. And then after that, it was like, driving an hour and a half there and back. That's 3 hours of your day, especially when you're having overnights. It's not really conducive of, going and visiting your friends, no matter how much you love them. I mean, if that was the only opportunity, I would do it. But I knew I was going to spend another 2 weeks afterwards. So after I wrapped, which was, when did I wrap? March. Was it March? Shit. Or was it no. Was it March? Because it's April right now. I don't know what day it is.
It's April 16th. But
okay, April 16th. So March 20 something. I can't remember now. I went to Austin and hung out with some old friends of the podcast, actually. So Carly, my set wife, Nikki, just a bunch of other film buddies, and
I wanted to hang out with y'all too, but I was all over the place.
Hung out with Kelly.
Yeah,
so that was nice.
Yeah,
I know. Kelly is like in retirement now. So, well, she's in the like, you know what? I'm going underground, and if there's the right project, I'll come out of retirement. But, she's living I get it. Indie life is not the life for everyone, especially when you get older. You just start realizing that you just don't recover from them as much, and you just don't want that much stress in your life. And so I think Kellie's done with that anxiety. So she's got a very sweet gig with doing stop motion for specs, which is amazing. So I'm very proud of her, because that's like awesome.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
She told me a little bit about that
Yeah.
once, and I was super excited for her.
Yeah.
And she seems to like it too.
Yeah.
I think she will, though. Like, I think she's gonna come back.
I think for the right project,
because it's fun. We talk about how fun it is.
It is
You know
fun.
what I mean?
It's just
So
the grind is a lot. So if you're doing it every time, and you're chasing the job, and you're not making that much, and you could make like 3 times as much doing, a quarter of the work, I understand that, I think you get to a point when you realize, like, well, what's this all for if I'm not actually living my life, right? So so I reached that conclusion. That's why I went to Burning Man and went to London and all of that stuff after the Ursley tour, being like, oh, I should be like ridiculously happy having accomplished this really big milestone in my life, which is making Ursley, going on tour with it. And I was just burnt out, and I realized, hey, you know what? Would I date myself right now? No, not at all, because I'm not fun. All I do is work. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to get myself straight. And then I think it's just given me a new perspective, and I don't know. Now I'm like very excited after this long ass trip to continue to grind.
You're reinvigorated.
Yeah, I feel really reinvigorated. And so
reinvigorated.
After Austin, I went to Shreveport, because Shreveport on April 13th, there was a screening by my friend Christy Woodard. She organized this female shorts screening, which is amazing. That's a lot of work to put on a screening. Marketing is a bitch. And because it's a pain in the ass. It's a lot of resources that you have to put in to convince people to come and get off their couch and go to a movie theater, pay a ticket, and watch movies, especially when it doesn't, none of these movies have anybody that you could possibly recognize, type thing. And so she did the work, and there were about 6 filmmakers that were there who showed their shorts. And it was super fun, because I showed The Earth Below, which I hadn't seen in a couple years.
Really?
2
wow.
3 years. Yeah. And you watch it, and you're not under pressure. It's just like, I'm watching this for the sake of watching it, and it's a different feeling. Some of the other shorts the same, because I worked on some of them. So Camille showed Saint Esther Day, which I was a first AD on, and then she showed her film The Cut, and there was some other fantastic filmmakers. But it's just, the more, especially when you go to LA, I think when you're in a giant pond and you're a small ass fish, I think you really, really learn to appreciate the people who take their time to elevate everyone else around them. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a place like LA, everybody's in it for themselves. And I get it. We're all hustling. We're all just trying to survive, financially, mentally, everything. And so it's amazing when somebody takes their own time to, create something that helps out their fellow colleagues, right? With no benefit to them, right? And so I hope that there's more things like that. I'm part of a group here in Los Angeles called the Brunch Girls, and they're trying to create a screening as well, an opportunity really for female filmmakers to showcase their work, because it's actually extremely difficult to get screenings done, because it costs money unless you can figure out a way to like partner up or whatever. But typical theaters it depends. Like if it's like a commercial theater or something with like 500, 300 some seats, you can get it for like $800 to $1,500, right? If it's like,
Wow.
I just got a quote. I know. I just got a quote. I'm trying to put on a screening in Sacramento because I coincidentally will be in Sacramento during the California Mermaid Con. I'll tell more details than that. But because it's a single theater and there's no other theaters in it because it's an old school theater, they were like, yeah, it's going to be about like $5,000. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
To
Why?
rent the theater. Yeah, it was like 48 because then they got to hire the person, and then like because this theater is like seats a shit ton of people. There's only one room. Like not like when you go to AMC and there's like 24 theaters inside one big ass location. This is a
Right.
single theater in one. It's old school. So they're like, yeah, like basically if you can only show one movie at a time. So that makes sense. That is that expensive.
Oh,
But
so would you in a commercial theater show multiple screenings
yeah,
or sorry,
so like
multiple like movies in the same
screens.
screening?
Yes. You
Okay.
would so in like your traditional
Single theater, you
single
can't do
you
that.
can't. You only can show one
That
movie
one screen.
and that one screen on a specific spot. So if you're showing early, let's say from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 9
Mhm.
p.m., you cannot show any other movie. So they better make their money back.
So it's
Yeah.
economically and practically makes way more sense to do it with the commercial theaters than
Technically,
traditional but
old school. Yeah. But
the
it's
aesthetic
fun.
and the
Yeah.
fun of doing it in a
Exactly.
old theater, that's where it's at. It's like
Right.
history built into
Exactly.
that theater.
Also,
But it's so inflated and I don't know why.
Yeah, and I specifically was looking at this theater because it's literally right across the street from the dive bar in Sacramento, which is the Mermaid Bar, where the opening of the California Mermaid Convention is happening on May 19th. So I was like, oh,
Mhm.
that'd be perfect. There's right before the party, they go watch my film and go. And I was like, but I really don't have $4,000 to do stuff. Yeah, they charge offers for readings to inflated costs big time. Yeah,
Really?
totally. Yeah, it's nuts. And I'm just like, man. So yeah, putting on a screening is extremely cost not it's very difficult through cost, through time, because you have to sink a lot of time to market it. You have to pay the price to rent the place. And so let's say you rent it for $5,000 and then two people show up. Well, you're kind of fucked,
Oh yeah, you're in the negative. Yeah.
Yeah. So it really sucks. And so that's why it's amazing when there's people who I think they're just, that's how you solve it. You just got to get groups of people together that you're like, all right, I at least have 5 friends. I'll come watch it. You're like, okay, cool. You have 5 friends. You have 5 friends. Okay, that's why short programs are so prominent, because you can fit like 8 films from 8 different filmmakers that each have 5 friends. Then there's your 40 people in the seat. And hopefully they bring like 2 other people, these friends. So yeah.
It's just so wild to me though. It's just like
nuts.
you're robbing these people of showcasing their content, their well rewarded, hard worked content to just, fork over like as much money in like marketing in the budget. You know what I mean?
As it costs to make the short film.
As the cost to make it. That's something doesn't make sense here.
It doesn't add up. Right. So there's just gotta be a way. There are companies out there that are trying to figure out how to better utilize the exhibition landscape. I'm kind of working with one of them. But basically it's a tipping point system where let's say they ask a theater, okay, what is the minimum amount of seats that you have to sell in order to break even? In order for you to make it worth your time financially. So they calculate that and they're like, oh, it's, I don't know, 80 seats. Cool. So then they have this platform that will show 80 seats that you have to sell or you're not going to have the screening. But that's the nice part, is that there's no initial like you don't have to put in the money right up front without any guarantee, right? So if you're able to, let's say, guarantee that there are 80 people who are going to buy the tickets and tip over and show a screening, then awesome. It's a great concept, but it's really difficult when like it's really annoying. It's one of those things. It's like the screening won't happen if you don't hit this amount of people, right? But then people don't like planning in advance for film screenings, right? And so then like you have 70, let's say you have 80 people who are like, we're committed, but they refuse to buy the ticket until like the very last minute. Then there's a timeline because the platform sets like 2 or 3 like 10 days in advance of the actual screening date where you have to hit the minimum amount of tickets, because if you don't, they've got to figure out what else they can schedule in the slot that would have been so but most people, unless it's a Taylor Swift concert, do not like buying tickets ahead of time, understandably, because we're a very busy society and there are plenty of things that pop up all the time. So it's in conclusion, guys, it is really difficult to get people to go watch movies in theaters now these days, unless there's some famous person that's showing up or, it's a special event of some sort. So it's really frustrating. But anyway, yeah, so I was in Shreveport and we had the female filmmaker screening, and it was fantastic. It was pretty much a full house, which was amazing. Somebody asked a very good question at the screening, which was, how can we support female filmmakers or independent films? And I was on a TED Talk, but my biggest thing is show up to these screenings, make a legit effort to look for films that are not studio made and watch them, whether that's on video on demand, subscriptions, or going to events. It's going to take a little bit more effort because you have to drive there and go to the event and watch the film and buy the ticket. That may seem more expensive than when you go to AMC type thing, but that's the best way to support independent films. Either that, or if you see a Kickstarter or any kind of marketing that pops up on social media, going in and sharing that and spreading the word is the other way to support filmmakers. And you may think, oh, if I just share this stupid link on my Facebook, I only have 100 friends. Like, how is that going to help? Well, because
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Who knows? Let's say from those 100 friends, 1% sees it and thinks, hey, that's cool, I'm going to go click on that link. You just got 10 new people to go see these eyes. And maybe from those 10 people, one of them is like, this is awesome, I'm going to share it on my social media or donate $100 or whatever it is. And it is a domino effect. And for a small filmmaker, an independent filmmaker, our problem is we don't have a budget to ever do big time marketing. So we're trying to make noise when there's already so much noise being made by other films with bigger budgets for marketing. And we get swallowed into that noise because we don't have the money to do traditional marketing. We can't buy out theaters and give people free tickets to go watch the film so they can spread the word and create buzz. Deadline or like different publications don't really care about us if we don't have, somebody famous on it type thing.
Right.
So that is literally the best way, is just to go and watch the film. Let's say, okay, you don't have time to watch the film. No worries. Buy the film. You don't have to watch it. Just buy it. Buy a ticket to a screening. Can't make it, it's cool. Just buy it, buy a ticket. That in itself will give some sort of, money back to the filmmaker or whatever. And it makes all the difference. And especially if it's a small, legit, independent film, I guarantee you 80% of the time, the filmmaker literally is glued to the computer or their phone, and they see every single purchase of everything that it has been made for their film. I can like attest to that.
Me too.
When Ursula came out, I knew whenever a ticket was purchased, and I knew who purchased that ticket sometimes because, you're doing like Eventbrite.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
It
crazy.
has that information.
Yeah,
So
right.
so I am, every time somebody, I'm like, oh shit, like Carly bought a ticket or so and so bought a ticket. Like, you don't know how much joy it gives a filmmaker, or you don't get to see that on like Amazon and stuff like that, but we get reports of like, hey, 50 people watched your film, like that because we are the ones that it directly impacts. So if you want like a direct impact on independent films, that's the way to do it. Is literally rent a film, buy a film. You don't even have to watch it if you think like, oh, I'm not sure, or go and support a screening event. And the least common denominator, or the cheapest, no money spent, is just your time, is share whatever link needs to be shared on your social medias and platforms, and spread the word, like independent films need it. And that's the best way to solve the problem of there's nothing to watch. Hollywood keeps making the same shit. Well, supply and demand, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
silly.
go and you show that there's demand for watching, I don't know what's in like shitty franchise, but some shitty
Like a Marvel or
franchise.
some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some shitty franchise. The world is the business people go, hey, well, look at the statistics. These many people and these many tickets were sold for this movie, so that means we should keep making them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, that's just what happens.
If you have a finger on the pulse, a lot of people are sick of those kind of movies too. Sick of those,
Yeah.
like you said, those people who are like, oh, there's no good like independent movies anymore. It's like,
no, there's a lot.
There's a ton actually.
There's a ton.
And
yeah, you just need to put in a little bit of effort to go and look for them, to support them.
I also get this. I got this from a family member not too long ago, and I kind of I almost bite their head off, but like they basically, it's the same answer but in a different question, and that is that why is it that every time I go on Amazon or Netflix, I see some like crazy ass like independent film that I never seen, and it's like it came out like recently in the last 5 years. I'm like, yeah, genius, because everything else is covered by Marvel, Disney, all this shit. So all those films are just going to be tossed to the side. They're like, well, that doesn't make any sense because these are good movies. Why wouldn't anybody talk about that? It's like, exactly. Why wouldn't anybody talk about that?
Because yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't? And so like we really depend on word of mouth, of buzz, of spreading, of telling people, of everything. That is what, from a technical aspect, from a UI or whatever, that's how certain films get pushed up to the top so that they get seen. Like when I released Ursula, that was a big thing. We needed to get a guaranteed, I forgot how many it was, like 200 sales on iTunes or something, so that it would be shown and featured at the top of the
250.
Yeah, to something like that. I don't remember, but it was
crazy though.
It's not an outrageous number though. However,
you don't think so?
250? I don't know. I feel like I have at least 250 friends, but I don't know. But you know what I'm saying?
I guess I'm thinking of myself too. It's like, do I have 250 friends? I don't think so.
But I mean, it takes work, right? Because
it's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. You can't control when people are going to go and watch something when they say they will. They may watch it 5 years from there,
or
type
to
thing.
depend on them to buy a ticket.
Exactly.
to the screening.
So, I mean, that's the biggest thing is that if you want to support independent films and you're like, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't like invest in films, no problem. Easiest thing to do is share whatever Kickstarter, viewer link, VOD, whatever. You don't have time, no problem, but you have money, buy a film, rent a film, buy a ticket to the screening. Who says you have to show up physically, type thing. But that your contribution immediately flows to hopefully the filmmaker,
Instagram comment from Gilbert Baker. The whole system seems broken. Use your voice. Yeah. I mean, totally. I feel like word of mouth is the most powerful marketing tool. Okay.
I think
so. But again, though, it's like how can you compete with like people like Disney or Warner Brothers to like beat you over the head with ads like on Instagram and
Exactly.
Facebook
And
and
that's
all that
why
shit?
it's so difficult to
When
stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because meanwhile, you're competing with exactly Disney, Marvel, whatever, that have so much money that can literally, no joke, spend $5,000 a day on social media marketing.
Ads alone, or online ads
alone.
alone. Yeah.
Ads alone. Yeah. I can do maybe $20 a day, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And this is like me going to AD some features and stuff and trying to live in Los Angeles and everything. And maybe I can do $20 a day type thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, and
we
the
are
fact that
stronger
it's
together. We cannot give money, share.
No.
Exactly, word of mouth. So that's what I'm saying. That's free to do. And so literally going and sharing, going in and telling people, that is the best way to support independent films. So so getting off
I
my
agree.
TED talk about that. But yeah, so I did that in Shreveport, and then I drove back the next day, which is the 14th, towards Los Angeles. It takes me 2 days. So yesterday I was in Albuquerque, and today, the day before the 14th, I was in Albuquerque. The 15th, which is yesterday,
Oof.
I arrived in
New
Los
Mexico's
Angeles.
rough. Oof.
So yeah, so that's where I am. And my room is a disaster because I have to organize about 2 months worth of.
But I bet you're happy to be home
stuff.
though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's weird because a lot of the places I've been have felt like home to an extent, just not physicality if it's not my bed or whatever. But like, I lived in Austin for 10 years, so being there, I'm just seeing all my friends, and home is where like your people are, right? Ooh, Beef. Yes, Beef is very good. I just started watching Beef.
Beef?
Thank
What's
you.
that?
Beef is a Netflix film. Netflix series. With I'm so terrible. There's this Chinese. It's an Asian film, and it's awesome. Go look it up on Netflix. But I'm into it 3 episodes right now. So Beef. It's very, very good. Starring Jesus Christ. Please don't ever ask me.
No way. Steven Yeun and Ali Wong?
There it is. Yes.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, it's a show.
Yes, it's an episodic series. So
definitely
go.
When did I not? I haven't even seen this.
Because we got to drive up but it's great so far. So definitely go watch that.
Yeah, it looks rad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ali Wong. Like, that's one of the only comedians that I saw live that I was like, my ribs was like splitting. Like I was like, my side hurt so goddamn bad. Like, Ali Wong is
she's
so hilarious.
She's very funny in this too.
Is she? Okay, good.
Yeah, I've only watched 3 episodes thus far, but it's quite good.
Awesome. Sick. Yeah, I'll watch it.
But it's the marketing, like, yeah, exactly. It's all about marketing. It's like, so maybe that's what we should do, Adam, because I want to commit myself to also be better at supporting independent films and not just going to whatever's on my app for AMC and just going to watch John Wick 4. Although I love John Wick 4.
Same here.
Maybe I don't know if this is like a far-fetched commitment, but maybe every week we should have like each of us come in with one film that's independent that we want to recommend that we've watched, and we can shout it out. So
done and done. I am down. I love that.
I'll commit to that because I need to watch more independent films, independent everything. And it doesn't have to be a feature. It can be a short, whatever. But just one independent artist that we want to shout out and say, hey, go check out this film,
Totally.
So anybody out there, if you want us to watch your film, let us know. Adam, do you have any films? Adam Gregory from New York City. Yes.
Yeah,
please.
we'll watch it. And
we'll watch it, yeah.
We also like we are in the season of more guests too, right? Yes. So we want to have these filmmakers come on.
Firewatch. We're calling it Firewatch Chats. Our
the Firewatch chat.
Firewatch Chats.
Like, we always have a fireside chat. Wow, no, I'm in Texas.
Oh, why does yours say NYC? Okay. All right.
But
cool.
I'm down.
Well, Texas is awesome.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Yeah, please. But yeah, Adam, send us some links or whatever, whoever else is out there. Yeah, I think that's I can make that commitment. One independent film that it doesn't have, there's no, here in the Valley. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I have a handful of films I want to help get rep. Awesome. Yeah. Sounds good. Please send us the different links or whatever. If you can't remember, getrealisms@gmail.com, or you can really just get onto our Instagram and just send us a message. Basically, it's just
Probably better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Cool. I was in Texas. Oops. I see you. I see. That makes more sense. Yeah, please send us information, and we want that. We want to support independent films, independent filmmakers, because coming from an independent filmmaker, it is a pain in the effing ass to get marketing. So, and if we don't start with ourselves, and if we're not supporting each other, how do we expect other people to give a shit? Right. So, yes.
Gilbert Baker says, please, all the filmmakers in Out Film Festival deserve conversations.
Okay, the Gilbert Baker Film Festival.
Our
Where
film
are
festival.
You guys?
Yeah.
Where is the Gilbert Baker Film Festival? You tell us so we can talk a little bit about that. In fact, if you want, we should message us on Instagram. Maybe we can bring you on to talk about your film festival. That might be easier. And that way you can also shout out your film festival participants and everything like that. So send us perfect, global and virtual. Love it. Yeah, send us a message and we'll schedule a time to do a podcast with you to talk about your film festival, because you know what? There are actually film festivals out there that are doing their film festival, not because they're just trying to make money off of filmmakers, but really because they truly believe in independent films and they want to support independent filmmaking. So, which is really important.
Which there's nothing wrong with, like, the big budget studios doing their stuff, but
not at all.
It is disheartening that they dominate film festivals and screenings and all that, because South by Southwest is sort of like, it's heavily commercialized. Gilbert Baker says, founded by Gilbert Baker, the creator of the original rainbow flag. Rad.
Really? That's so cool. Oh, I'm a screener for the Urban Night. Just one.
Adam Gregory says, I'm a screener for the Urban Night Festival in NYC, and I've done that for other festivals. That's awesome. I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Share part of our tickets with our filmmakers. Well, shout out to Gilbert Baker Film Festival. That's pretty awesome. And Adam, formerly from NYC, but now in Texas. Yeah. Send us, all you guys, please DM us, because obviously we are trying to we're not looking at stuff. So send us a DM and we will schedule a time to bring you on the podcast and talk about your films and everything like that. So yeah, this is our Fire Chat Watch, talk, chat, whatever. Jesus Christ.
Fire Watch Chat. Yeah.
There it is. Fire Watch Chat. So yeah, so I am here in Los Angeles now. Just chilling for a little bit, trying to get a little bit of get my foot, finding homeostasis in Los Angeles for a week or two, because I technically already started on my next project, not my own, sadly, because I've got to make money to be able to fund my own projects. So the project I am very lucky to be a part of, I am on a new film that stars Michael Cera and Kristen Stewart. It's called Sacramento, and it starts filming April 25th. So that's day one of production. So I've been in prep. I'm the first assistant director on it. And I'm very excited. I really hope Michael Cera and Kristen Stewart are nice people. That's all I can ask for.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
I'm a big believer that, like, I don't care how good you are. If you're a dick, then I lose absolutely all respect for you.
Yeah.
So So I really hope that they're really nice. Yeah. So we'll see.
I'm excited for you. That's awesome. And so I'm assuming you're shooting this not in Sacramento.
Well, actually, part of it, it's a 24-day shoot. So the first 3 weeks are going to be in LA, and the final week, we are going up to Sacramento. And so that's why I was saying I was trying to rent the theater, because we are coincidentally in Sacramento during the launch, the weekend for the California Mermaid Convention, which I love the California Mermaid Convention.
Yeah.
I knew of it because when I did my tour for Ursula, which is a mermaid film, I went and screened it with the California Mermaid Convention. So I'll probably pop in and distribute some goodies, which reminds me I need to order. But like, hey, stickers for Ursula, or I think we still have a shit ton of glow sticks left. So glow sticks and stuff like that. But yeah. So that's our last week of filming for Sacramento. Will be in Sacramento, which is neat.
I love it.
So
That's awesome.
I feel extremely grateful for it, because a lot of people, a lot of projects are on a hiatus or a standstill in anticipation of the writer's strike, which from a
that was one of the topics I was going to bring up.
Exactly.
So perfect segue.
There we go. So yes, there's going to be a writer's strike that's about to happen.
And that's imminent. So that's confirmed.
It's imminent. It's confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
My roommate's husband from the MGM side said that, yeah, it's definitely happening. So thank you so much, guys. Because
you want to know something, it's pretty ambiguous, like on places like NBC. Even Fox News wrote an article on that, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah. And they left that ambiguous. They're like, they may not. Who knows? Maybe they're going to work out a deal with the writers' union. It's like,
I mean, it's not to anybody's advantage for the writers to go on strike, especially when we just came back from not working and they need content. So, they should just honor whatever the writers want.
And now these streaming services are purging content. I don't know if you read about that as well.
No, what is that?
So they're like, so HBO Max now is going to turn into Max because they merged with Discovery.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
They're getting rid of millions of dollars worth of content right off of their platform. Reasons of why?
The licensing.
Part of it is the licensing, but a lot of it is the oversaturation of content. So they know they saw that this could possibly be a problem, which I think is all bullshit.
Yeah.
And they said that, okay, well, if we're going to merge Discovery content, well, now, things are going to just be even more inflated.
We're going to have too much more stuff.
Which doesn't make any sense because there's like 1 million hours worth of like animal content in fucking Disney Plus. Shut your mouth. Like, stop this.
I have a feeling it's just an excuse that like, hey, because we do have this merger, people are expecting things to be, tightened up. So they're using this opportunity they've probably had this idea a while ago. Right. And they just didn't have a good way to segue to do it type thing. So they're probably from COVID and stuff, they probably were hemorrhaging money because,
they were 100%.
Exactly. And so what they're doing now is to get rid of, licensing that is causing them to hemorrhage money. So it's just it's a perfect excuse to do it.
So cutting back to the writer strike convo.
Yes.
Does this mean then that like places like it would be like a unanimous thing between like every single streaming platform to be like, okay, we're going to get the writers union like together. And then this is going to be literally the criteria for TV writers and film writers and all the other writers who want to be on Netflix payroll or Amazon payroll.
Right. And technically, it's interesting because before when there was an imminent strike and I was living in Texas, it didn't seem to, I was so disconnected from it because in places like Texas, Louisiana, they are right to work states. So it doesn't matter if there's a strike because you can still get hired type thing. they're very strict here in California, the right to work. We don't have a right to work. It's run by unions basically.
Yeah.
And I used to think, oh, well, it doesn't affect me because I'm non-union type thing. But here's the deal. When a strike happens, all of the people in there stop working, right? And so when you stop working, they're not making any money. They're all saving money. When they're saving money, they're probably not funding their own projects to make that are non-union type things,
Mm-hmm.
which that all trickles down. So there's less union projects, then pretty much everybody loses because there's just less projects going around for a very large amount of people. And yeah, and people aren't able to survive if they're not able to, make money from work. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, so I got lucky. Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer. But yeah, we really
Oh, that's
thanks
nice, Jennifer.
everybody
Thank
really
you.
for listening. We are
Thank you guys
trying
for
to
tuning in. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, if there's any topics that you guys are interested in listening, talking about, feel free to DM us and whatnot. But this season of the Get Realisms podcast is specifically about shining a light for independent filmmakers. So if you know an independent filmmaker, if you are an independent filmmaker and you want to talk about your projects, please message us, and we're happy to lend a platform, because that's how we need to be, is support each other so that we can stay above the noise and try to get our stuff seen as well. So anyways, yeah, so that's the thing with the strike, is that a lot of studio projects are basically waiting. They don't want to start a project and then have to stop it in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they'd rather just wait it out, and then hopefully the strike happens, then they'll resume, they'll start their project after the strike type thing. So a lot all across the board. I've heard this in Texas, in Louisiana, and here in Los Angeles, that things have been very slow. There hasn't been a lot of work going around, and people are like freaking out about it. So with that in mind,
which is why I'm doing a lot of commercial stuff lately.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's why I'm
there isn't
extremely
much.
grateful that I somehow landed this opportunity. And I'm trying to figure out who recommended me or whatever, because I didn't recognize the person that emailed me about interviewing for the project. So whoever out there, thank you, universe, or whoever in my network who recommended me for this project as the first assistant director. Thank you very much. And I will also continue to do that. I'm always doing that. When I see stuff online for that, people looking for specific roles, I'm always tagging people, because that's the way we have to support each other, and that's the way we continue to work and be able to do what we love to do. So yeah, actors are definitely feeling it. Yeah, I have so many friends in LA who are like, we haven't gotten to work at all. Elizabeth, I was talking to her recently, was really frustrated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like,
friend of the podcast.
Yeah, she's like, I haven't like booked anything in a few months. And she's not the only one. My friend Phil, a lot of people have things have just been like crickets.
That's that's the interesting part with the industry, is that like a lot of people, I don't know, I guess it's not like a universal idea, right? But my family, who are of older generation, definitely see filmmaking, especially in the line that I work in, as very glamorous. Like it's very, very superficial, very like, we're hanging out with Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie and shit like that. Like,
is apparently walk red carpets and hang out with movie stars.
Walk red carpets and yell action and then cut and then go home. That's it.
I know. It's so funny because, I always love inviting friends that have an interest in film to sets when I'm able to. And I think 100% of the time they're like, holy shit, I don't see how you guys can do this. This is really hard. You had to stand for 14 hours today. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think we did? Yeah.
Right.
So 100% of the time people are flabbergasted that film making takes work until they're on a set. And that's totally fine. Like if you were to ask me like what a chemical engineer does, I would be like, I don't know. So that's my dad. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. And yeah, so I get it. I'm not like pissed off at people who don't get it, but like,
No.
yeah, film is
But
a lot of hard work. It's a
yeah,
lot of
there's
hard
got to
work.
be a little bit of sympathy, because it takes artistry and it takes like commitment and it takes passion and it takes like all sorts of, and even like a hint of business acumen in order to like really like get in deep and good with the film industry.
Exactly.
Instead of like, you know, how a lot of people think that like they more see this as like a hobby than an
And
actual like industry.
yeah.
This is a like a working industry.
Yeah, this is a working industry, and the only way that we
You
stay
know?
employed is if we, if there's content out there, and if you
Yeah.
studios and producers and stuff provide a way to pay people fairly for those creative endeavors. Like scripts don't just happen. Sure, there are a lot of people that write scripts and aspire to write cool ideas and stuff, but once you're into it, you realize that it's a lot of time to write a script. I mean, how long have you been writing your script, Adam?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm honestly too embarrassed. I'm
It's
so
okay, but
embarrassed.
like good scripts take a long time. Sure, you can maybe knock out something in a few weeks or something, but then you go in,
Oh, I wish
you
it was
gotta
a few weeks.
you gotta go in and like re-edit it, and then it goes up the chain editing until it's really good, and then after that, you gotta go find a person to raise the funding or
Wasn't
gather the resources.
wasn't it you
Yeah.
that said that the writing process doesn't even stop in the editing process?
Oh yeah, the writing process stops when the movie is picture locked.
Yeah,
That's
I was
that's
yeah.
that's when the writing process starts. Yeah, all the time. I mean, you're constantly, when you're editing, you're writing.
Yeah.
You're editing. You're being like, that doesn't work, and cut, and then like, switch different things together. I'm embarrassed.
Rework
I
the
would love to know.
scenes, yeah.
I'm a beginner writer, and I would love to know more, says Adam.
No, tell us. I'm a beginner. Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess it's not that embarrassing. It's been I'm thinking about doing a video about this, but it took me officially, it took me like 3 years. a little shy of for 3
Dude, that's
years.
not embarrassing at all. I have scripts because the thing is, like, especially bigger concept scripts, you need to take the time to breathe, right? And so it's like wine, it's a fine wine. So you take your first stab at it, and sometimes looking at it the next day is not going to give you enough of a break to be able to see things
No.
objectively. And
Right.
so I have scripts like that. I have scripts that I started, for my wine script that I've now repurposed as a pilot.
Right.
That started 4 or 5 years ago. And then I forgot about it, and then life happened and all that stuff. And then I've brought it back to life again. So like 3 years is not bad at all. I mean, what was it? Avatar that was 10 years until it got made or something like that. I don't even
Yeah.
remember.
I wish
But
I can
like,
compare the script to Avatar, but yeah.
yeah, but
I
like
don't know about all that.
script writing, as a beginner script writer, I think the biggest thing is like, first process, just word dump, right? And then you continue to massage it and everything, and then finally when you're at a place where you feel feeling confident, you may not ever reach that point, but if you're at a point where you're like, okay, well, this all looks the same to me now, that's more what it is. Now you open up your circle to people that you trust to help you, give you notes, and to add more to the script. Okay, after you've opened the circle to people you trust, then open up the circle to strangers, people that have zero vest in this film, they are able to look at something extremely objectively. They can just be like, I hate the first 2 pages, or like, I don't like this, I don't like
Yes.
that line, I don't understand this, blah, 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 type thing. Because everybody, when we start to create films, we are sucked into this world, and we have been with these characters or in the world for a very long time, that we lose sight of things that are not obvious to the audience, right? Because it's obvious to us because we've been living in this world and with these characters for several years or a few weeks or whatever it is. And so opening it up to strangers and people who don't, even care about movies can really give a lot of insight into your script. And it's freaking scary. It's very, very scary. You are putting your heart, your baby, on a platter to be cut up, basically, and shit on and whatever type thing. And it's extremely scary, and it only gets better through practice. And after you've done that the first time is the hardest, but then after you've done this multiple times with different scripts, you start to not care anymore. So
Adam Gregory says, so I wrote a script before leaving NYC at BMCC, and my professor and classmates roared when we read it in class. It was about a young serial killer. I'm still working on it. That's awesome, Adam.
That's perfect. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, please keep going.
Cannot say it enough. We are stronger together. Yeah,
we are united independent films. Exactly.
Yeah. So. Well, that's kind of interesting that you said that, because it's not the fact that like I developed this idea for this script. Oh my God. Since like I first started working retail, which was, I was 17 years old. And I had because I was a huge fan of like 80s films and 90s films and stuff like that. And I would watch so many of those films, and I've always wanted like a good post-apocalyptic narrative. And I felt like Mad Max, and of course, like Mad Max Fury Road is amazing, but Mad Max Road Warrior is a great film. But again, we've only had a few of these films that were good in its right. And I haven't really seen anything that engages with its environment as much as Mad Max has. So I've always wanted to make something that is like that, but have good characters in it, like great characters that everybody can relate to, because I want it to be in the not so distant future, where it's like with Mad Max, it felt like it was so
separated, it was so
out of reality. Yeah. So not saying it is in reality, but whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, so
I get what you're saying.
Thank you. And I wanted to make this script, and I've had this idea since I was 17 years old. So over 10 years, I've had this idea, and it was just only like 3 years ago when a counselor, when I did the Film Connection on, who paired me with Christine here, had given me like this, assignment basically for screenwriting, for like screenwriting classes and whatnot. And they're like, give 3 log lines, and I'll tell you which log line I like. And I'm like, okay. And then one of them was the post-apocalyptic narrative. And I wrote 2 other ones that I was super stoked for, because I was thinking of these other 2 that was silly. It was super fun. And it was something that was like fresh in my brain. And then I wrote the 3rd thing, which was like, I'll throw this in because I've had this for a while. I'm probably not going to do anything with it. I don't know. And then when the day came, I thought that he was going to choose one of the 2 other ones. Said he chose the 3rd one. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I've always wanted to see like a cool
post-pop.
Yeah, like something that is like a narrative that doesn't feel so fucking weird and hokey, that doesn't like, like Book of Eli, but not so much where it's so depressing.
Yeah.
I think, know what I mean?
To add on to it, it's different genre, but that's what I loved about Minority Report, is that Minority Report utilized a lot of, I think, current modern world and tied it in, where it just felt like, oh, the technology was elevated a little bit, but I can totally see that world in the context of when we were living, instead of like, oh, everybody's wearing silver suits, and it's the world is completely changed from I don't know, societal structure or whatever. Like it's a little bit, that one I was like, oh, they have ads, they're just holographic, and the cars just fly instead, but they're dealing with problems that we modern society is still dealing with. I don't know, I think that's one of the most underrated films ever.
Oh,
I
totally.
love that film.
And that's by Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
And
So
that's
Minority
the one
Report.
that I always go for as well. And people are like, you wouldn't do Jaws? You wouldn't do Jurassic Park? I'm like, because it's one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, no, I see this. I don't see myself face to face with a T-Rex. You know what I mean? I don't see myself face to face with a shark because my ass ain't going to no fucking water.
Yeah.
But that's the idea of it, is like, and some of it's in practice now with AI and all that shit. It's shit's scary. Like, yeah, like you can have augmented reality and whatnot. Jennifer Trujillo on Instagram says, so many different voices, so many different ears, so many more angles and versions of news stories to tell, existing stories to be heard from different voices or angles.
Agreed,
Yeah.
And Adam said that he studied Minority Report in his English class. It's pretty cool. So
Yeah. Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, there's so many. I think that's the beauty of filmmaking is in the end, it's about storytelling, right? And we are
Totally.
I think that's what makes us humans is storytelling. It's what reminds us why we're human and helps us reconcile how we feel, because that's what makes us humans. Humans feel, right? And interact with each other and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. I love storytelling and yeah, stories on screen are so important and necessary. Yeah.
Totally.
I think so too. Yeah, for sure. And yeah. So I have to attend one really badly.
Sure. So you want to take? Oh, we've been going for over an hour.
Yeah, this was a good session.
What
We had
a
a lot to
juicy
talk about,
episode! This was fun.
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys for making it fun. We love it when you guys participate and talk. And
this was rad. We want more interactions like these, and we're gonna get more guests on. Of course, it's not just going to be the two of us dummies. Yes, representation matters. Life-saving.
Agreed.
Couldn't agree more.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Representation matters. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for participating. We hope to do this again next week.
Yes,
unless
we are actually. I'm going to do a segue into what we have to look forward to next week. So PA Boot Camp is our guest.
Oh, right.
Yes. So our guest for next Sunday is PA Boot Camp. I'm really excited. I'm actually going to go in a few hours to go visit them. They host boot camps around the U.S. to help train people who are trying to get into the film industry, but specific from a production assistant standpoint. And so I'm going to go check them out and see what's up. And then hopefully, I want to. So the whole reason for Get Reelisms, I think that's what we always conclude with is our book Get Reelisms, which my team and I created because we want more people to be able to understand filmmaking from a very approachable way. So this is like a book that anybody, including your mom, can go in, take a look at, and understand filmmaking. And
that's right.
like
Christine said, "Your mom."
Yeah, it was like my mom, your mom. ET a time and date next week. So it will be on the 23rd, right? That's Sunday. And timing wise, it usually varies between like
noon to 3.
Well, yeah, noon to 3. It's around that time. It's kind of like, hey, can I wake up that early? So it's between that two. We usually we need to do a better job.
We do, but I mean, free podcast. You know what I mean?
However, all of
this
stuff,
you get.
This is our live recording, so this is the most fun because we get to interact with people and answer questions.
Yeah.
All of our podcasts are actually posted later on most of podcast platforms, so like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anything that you can think of that has podcasts, we're probably part of, called Get Reelisms podcast.
Which I heard Spotify's handing bags of money to any podcasts. We should sign up for that.
Really?
Let us
Where
be
did
a
you hear this?
No, I'm kidding. But there's so many people who get podcast deals with Spotify. Like every time I open up Spotify, I see our podcast just like only in subscriptions, just like buried deep within like subscriptions, and like push up the Joe Rogan podcast, push up all the NPR podcasts, push up all everything else. And they're all Spotify exclusive. So Spotify, hand us a bag of money. We'll go Spotify exclusive.
Hand us a bag of money, please.
Please, one bag of money, please. Sorry, Christine. I didn't mean to.
No, that's great. I would like to
but,
be handed a bag of money, wouldn't we all? Yes, but so yes, tell people it's like independent films.
Please
Just share the world. We do this for fun. It's kind of, I joke with Adam that this is a film industry therapy session as well. So we go and bitch about what works on set and what doesn't, mostly what doesn't work on set. Just talk about what's happening in the industry, and of course, to reiterate, this season is our Firewatch chats. So it's shining a light on independent filmmakers from around the world and trying to give everybody a platform to talk about filmmaking process and everything. Yes, from short story to big screen. That's a good. I've watched that one. I think so. Lessons. So lessons from a script, or there's some amazing stuff on YouTube. Oh, this is the book about Minority Report.
About Minority Report.
Okay, my bad. I thought that was a YouTube
love that.
Series. Cool. I'm gonna check that out. From short story to big screen. I didn't know it was a short story.
I didn't know that either, actually.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up. From short story to big screen. Oh, story to
by Stephanie Harrison. It's awesome. Yeah, I'll write that
totally
down.
Look at it. I actually bought a book recently that's really cool. This is separate. I just thought this was cool. This is called Eat What You Watch. It's a cookbook for movie lovers. I just thought it was super cool, but they basically has a bunch of different meals that are showcased in different films and like how to make them. So like this one is for example, a Philly cheesecake. It's not cheesecake, Philly cheesesteak. It's from Creed. And so it's like tells you all the different. I thought it was a brilliant idea.
That is cool.
Popcorn with chocolate covered raisins. Whiplash.
From Whiplash. Yeah.
So yeah, very, very cool.
That is sick. I like that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's been the Get Reelisms podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Please tune in next time. We will be doing probably the guest episode with PA Boot Camp.
Yes. If you go ahead. Sorry, I just saw a bunch of people. Yeah, if you guys want to be a guest, please DM us, Get Reelisms. Please email us at getreelisms@gmail.com. And if you can't remember any of it, just go to getreelisms.com and there's a way you can contact us. It all goes to the same people, which is us. So we are
also we need links too. We want to watch these projects and whatnot. Yes. So please send us links, send us everything. Send us your shit.
Yeah, just, tag us on events or whatever you want us to support.
We'll bring you on the pod.
Yes, this is a pod and a brand for filmmakers by filmmakers. So that's what our motive is to spread the word and help other filmmakers. So yay.
All right.
Yes, please. All right. I have to
Thanks,
tell one
guys.
so badly.
I have to as well. So thank you guys so much.
We
love you, Instagram. We love you, Facebook. Getreelisms.com. Pick up your book today.
Get Reelisms. Yes.
That's it. Instagram. Bye.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Jen. Bye, Behind the Rose Movie, Gilbert Baker Film Festival.
All right.
That was a good one.